What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P, Shannon White here with another episode of the Steelers Global Perspective. We said our last one was quick snap, but I think this one will be a quick snap one. But you know what? This is what happens when you and I get started. Obviously, Steelers. By the time this comes out, Steelers wrapped up week 3 of OTAs. Shannon, what are your takes out of this third week or the overall out of these OTAs? We can split it offense, defense, however you want to go about it.
Well, we'll start on offense. I'm impressed that Russell Wilson is behaving like, he has the no trade clause we found out this week. So they can't try to move him. He wants to be here. He wants to solidify the position, and he's acting like he's the leader and he's the franchise quarterback for now.
Yeah,
I like that with this young offense. That's important. He showed that he still has a really good deep ball because multiple times, especially Quintez Watkins, he's hitting that guy deep quite a bit. And if he's a one-trick pony, this maybe some kick returns, he might find a way on the roster. But we're seeing that Wilson still.
And I heard he had a 50-yard scramble as well, which that people weren't expecting. Like those.
He can still move. Yeah. He can still move. He's not a statue by any means. And we're seeing that Fields is really flourishing, I think, without the pressure, with being able to learn from a mentor like Wilson, and that will only help him. Steve Young said this week in a podcast that he reminds him of him when he was young, left Tampa, didn't have success, went to the Niners, sat behind Montana, so he was ready for his opportunity, and he learned to be a more pocket passer with great legs. Well, that's what Fields is striving to be. I like the comparison.
Yeah.
I like the way the Steelers' two-headed backfield's looking. Harris being slimmer, and maybe give him a little bit extra burst to be even more effective. And we know what Warren already offers. And I like Cordell Patterson for his versatility, but as that third running back, he's great on them outside runs. If you could get him, that's kind of like a kick return. If you could get him on some of them outside runs and let him pick and choose the hole and find it, I think he could be very effective. And all three of them could be excellent receiving options.
I also like Edwards out of Georgia. I think if he can scrape his way onto the roster,
training camp and preseason is going to be very important.
Yeah.
Because he could conceivably knock Patterson out.
Well, I think they probably need to carry 4 enough.
Well, and Patterson, his kick return ability is the big reason why he's here.
Yeah, exactly.
But the receivers, I like what I'm hearing. Because, again, I don't necessarily, like everybody else, I don't think they got to have a set wide receiver too. I'm okay with a mix and match, depending on matchups there.
Well, if they wanted a wide receiver too, you and I, we've done so many shows about wide receivers in the last 6 months. But my thing is, if you want a wide receiver too, why didn't you get a DJ Chalk? Why didn't you get, we could go through a bunch. There's a bunch of cheap guys. At this point, if they're going to get someone, they're going to get someone that gets cut, right before the season. That's what it is. Otherwise, they're going with what they got.
Yeah, if they're bringing anybody in at this point, I think it's somebody with size that can kind of emulate Pickens in a way.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
Someone's having there. Other than that, they got their every other variety of receiver covered right now.
Yeah.
Tight ends, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Darnell Washington is much more involved in the offense already. And you're hearing rave reviews. Justin Fields' first year working with Washington, obviously, he said that he ain't seen nothing like that other than Jimmy Graham. A guy that tall that can move like that.
But that's actually, when I heard that, I'll just say this little tidbit. When I heard it, I was like, this is great because Jimmy Graham caught a lot of balls from Russell Wilson. And a lot of yards with Russell Wilson.
And the offensive line, I think McCormick has been better than advertised.
Yeah.
Fuiatu he's starting to, solidify his position.
Even Craig Wolfley though this week was like, this guy looks like a guard to me. I know he'll play tackle, but I doubt that guy retires as a tackle.
No, he will probably, like you say, move inside eventually. But right now, I think that the value is at tackle for his rookie year. But if Frazier is really coming along, but again, they're still trotting Herbig out there. But I think that's going to end soon. But the offensive line is much improved. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But that's all I got on offense right now.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on all of that. Well, let's go defense. I think defensive side. I'll kick off. I think Benton just looks like year two is just gonna be like insane. He just got so much time. I'm just such a Benton fan. I think like the little brother Herbig is looking sharper and fitter than what I thought. I know what I thought he might come back as. Not that I thought he would come back poorly, but I think that because he surprised so much in that rookie year, you didn't necessarily.
But does he look bigger to you?
Yeah,
he looks about the same to me.
When I say bigger, I guess I'm saying I think there's more muscle there, right? I don't think it's necessarily he's got more mass, but I think he's stronger to me.
No, that's important. That's important,
right?
Yes.
And I know, I know you're in the camp that he, probably need to put on 5-10 pounds. I don't want him to lose the speed that he's got. So I'd rather him. And I always say to people, like, lean muscle is stronger than mass muscle. So someone can look leaner but be stronger than someone with
definitely.
So and I don't want him to lose that speed, because I think the speed, when he's been able to show, that's been huge. That was crucial in the Seahawks game when he had that game-winning sack. I think Moon, who you brought up with me, that we talked about a few weeks back, every photo I see of him, I feel like he's getting bigger. I'm like, what are you on? Are you, what are you doping? That's. Oh, you put yourself on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, that's Southern cooking there. That's black-eyed peas and cornbread and potato salad. And I think he's he's country strong.
Oh, he like that. So I like that. It's good to see Cam, like, regardless of all the contract stuff, good to see Cam Hayward back in the building.
Definitely.
That's huge. For Hoko, I mean, I go through and look for photos when, like, they're from their stuff, like when we're doing, I'm doing the shows and the thumbnails and getting inspiration and stuff like that. They're taking a lot of photos for Hoko, and that means that to me, that tells me he's showing out. They don't take photos. Like, it's amazing when you actually go through the OTA day and they've taken the photos and who they actually talk about after that.
Yeah.
There's a very clear parallel.
But don't you agree that he's the most natural nose tackle they have on the roster?
Well, yeah, because Adams isn't, and yeah, I mean, he is.
You don't want Benton stuck there again.
No, you don't. And the other name that I really loved, there was it's part of the blog on Steelers.com where they talked about Minka Ball, and he threw out 4 to 5 names that are going to, Minka threw them out, that are going to help him play Minka Ball. Deshaun Elliott, you'd freaking hope so. He threw out a couple of months, like Queen, I think, and a couple of weeks, and then he threw out Dean Lowry. And you know how high I've been on Dean Lowry for a while now.
You remember what
Dean
I said
Lowry
about
delivers
Watts
on what
last year? I said it about Watts last year. I'll say the same thing about Lowry. He's just a professional.
Yeah.
He will get the job done. You can trust him. Put him out there. He'll do the job.
If Ogunjobi doesn't play well to start the season, don't be surprised mid-season. I'm just going to say that.
If Lowry takes it. Yep.
Yep.
I tell you, did you notice Alex Highsmith? I mean, his first year, he was a little light in the pants, and he struggled to set the edge. The second year he come back, he set a great edge because he bulked up a lot, but he still didn't have the sack numbers. The third year, he had double-digit sacks, and he improved his burst. He focused on that quick first step.
Yeah.
But I think last year he had a little injuries and stuff, but I think this year at camp, he looks cut. He looks like he's the complete package now. He's got the anchor to set the edge. He's got the burst, and he looks like he's in a prime position to have a breakout season.
Yeah, that's another good one. We talked about. I don't want to go deep into corners because I think we've talked about that in a segment that we've already put out. But I just like the youth, the athleticism with a splash of experience. I just think that's great.
Hey, Matty, they're not slow anymore.
No,
how many times last year did I say they had? Well, last few years they got to improve team speed. Guess what? They're faster, and they're avatars. I mean, there's a couple of smaller mites, but they're mostly avatars now.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can't speak highly enough about Deshaun Elliott. Everyone's on the Patrick Queen train, the Russell Wilson train for the best free agent pickup. I still think it all means nothing without a strong safety. So Deshaun Elliott, I love. So it's just what I think overall on the way you and I talked about it, and then we've talked about OTAs now for 3 weeks. And there's a beautiful splash of youth athleticism spread across veterans and youth, and depth at like virtually every single position. I think when I do look at it, I do say you and I both questioned, you probably more so than me, what a wide receiver 2 would do in this Steelers offense. But like if you had in a perfect world, have someone that if Pickens went down 3 or 4 games to replace him, that I do think is a gap right now, if you ask me. But apart from that, everything else, it's just like let him cook for the next couple of months, and let's bring on September. Like let's go.
Oh, yeah. Like me and you last year, we were 2 of the guys, and there's others that have deep respect for Terrell Edmonds and his contributions with the Steelers.
Yeah.
And last year, everybody's like, can I kneel? I said, nope, not the answer. He don't have the speed. He can't. If they try to use him like they used Edmonds, it ain't going to work. Guess what? It didn't work.
But I don't even think he's a strong safety in the NFL anymore. He's a dime.
Well, it just didn't work at all. And I feel much better about Deshaun Elliott. This guy can do the things that Edmonds did, and it will free up Minkah Fitzpatrick. You notice that, I don't know, we haven't talked about him this week. And I think we've talked about him 3 or 4 weeks in a row, at least, Justin Simmons. Since they signed Sutton, now you're not hearing as much about Simmons.
Good.
And I think it's because Sutton can fill so many roles. And what I told you, I wanted to see Simmons and Fitzpatrick and maybe be a little unpredictability there in some packages. Now you got Elliott, Fitzpatrick, and Sutton, and you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because Sutton played really good his last year with the Steelers, and a lot of it was deep center.
Yeah, it was.
You might, by signing Sutton, you might have took care of 2 things, because then you don't have to pay too much for Simmons.
True. Well, anything else you want to add on the OTA stuff, or we'll give it a wrap?
I'm super excited. I really am. I'm like you. Like, let's bring on. I mean, I can't wait to training camp and all that kind of stuff. And so anything they do from this point to me is gravy, and it'll be great for us to have content to talk about. But I'm really happy that Cam Hayward came back, because he is the unquestioned leader, and the Steelers young guys learn the culture and the standards from the older guys. And you need guys like him, Fitzpatrick, Watt, to pass that down. And I think that Hayward being there says that he understands that part of his legacy.
That's it. I'm not going to ruin that comment. That's too good. As always, go Steelers.